hard money lender, which is a private investor that's gonna, put up some money for you. You put in down 25% in most of those cases. You hold the house for 6 months, right? So what you want to do is find a home that has equity in it, right? Mm-hmm. Enough equity so that you're buying low, you're selling high, and most of them look for what they call, you're going to see the term ARV, which is after repair value. And so you really need to be able to know what is the after repair value after I purchase it, after I rehab it, and pay closing costs and first, because you have to close twice as an investor if you're flipping. So you're going to pay your closing costs once when you purchase, and then you're going to pay closing costs again when you put it on the market to sell it. So you have to include all those costs in there. And most of before COVID, your hard money lenders wanted to see that ARV at like 70%. Now they really want it to be much lower. They're like, can it be at like 60%? If it has to be 70, they're asking you to put more money in, 30%. So if you're going into the flipping game, you need to have capital in order to make that work, or find some way to finance your portion of it and make sure that you're in an area that's going to sell fast. Because the goal with flipping is you want to be able to move that house fast once you get to time to actually sell it. The other thing is you do want to make, and at that point you need to get with a realtor. You can do for sale by owner, but you're going to need contracts. You're going to need all kinds of stuff, and you might as well just use a realtor. But also you're going to need to make sure that you have your team in place. Like, who are my contractors and are they licensed? Can they pull permits, and can they get through this process, the permitting process properly? Because the last thing you want to have is the county coming shutting down your projects. Because again, you're on a clock, and that clock is ticking with your money on the line with a hard money lender. Okay. And most investors use a hard money lender. Some, depending on, their financial profile, will use traditional lending. But right now, because of COVID, a lot of our lenders, our traditional lenders, our banks, our local banks, our credit unions and stuff have stopped doing investor portfolios because it's just too risky. It's too risky. Like, they're not going to take on that risk. They're already taking on a lot of risks with, just in this COVID environment.
That makes sense. Hold on. I have another question.
Okay.
And while Shannon's getting questions, of course, feel free to give us a call at 240-508-8095. For those of you listening on the Spreaker Live Network, listen to us across the country. And then those of you who are Facebook Living with us, again, feel free to call us at 240-508-8095 so we can get your questions on with Wavitra Jordan, real estate extraordinaire. Go ahead, Shannon.
Oh, Mike, you make me live up to a big, big name there.
That's right. Don't make me look
Trinity's
bad.
Basically asking on the lines of flipping houses. It's right now a good time to flip houses because of COVID.
So you know what? It is because your interest rates are low, right? So your rates are going to be low depending on where you go. If you go traditional lender, if you can find one that's doing it still, then your rates are going to be low. So it's still good because you're going to have more room, to make a bigger profit.
Okay. And you spoke on the lines of investors. Like, how do you find an investor? Is it something that you got to bring to the table, or how do you go about finding an investor to help you flip a property?
So to help raise money for you to purchase property. So word of mouth. You have to go to the people that and say, hey, are you interested in going into this particular, strategy with me? Are you interested in going in together on a property? And then you guys decide how much you're going to put in, each person. And then you go find a property that fits the capital that you have to go into it. Hard money lenders, the people who are actually giving you the money. There are lots of different programs out here. I'll have to see what's out in Vegas. I'll check that out for you guys and send you some information on that. I'll make note for that. And I'll send you some contacts if I have, if once I find out like who's doing that out there. Those are your private lenders. And then some of your, I know that Sandy Spring Bank still does. I don't know if there's a Sandy Spring Bank out there in Vegas, but I know that they do still have a investor portfolio right now.
Oh, okay. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. Not a problem. I love to help my investors. I mean, hey, it's about buying back the block, right? Building that generational wealth.
Absolutely.
Giving back. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, take it back. Take back the block.
So, Avitri, in terms of the first-time home buyer, is this a good time for the first-time home buyer to get into the market?
I'm glad you asked that, Mike, because, you know, when I was on before, I was telling you I was really proud that most of my first-time home buyers needed $6,000 or less to buy their first home, right? And most of them got in, like one of my last first-time home buyers, his cash out of pocket was like $2,419, right? So that was it. And he bought a $300,000 house. So
wow.
But now, because it's such a seller's market, sellers are not having to give incentive for you to purchase their house. So what is the incentive? The incentive is closing costs, giving you some money to purchase their home. Whereas before COVID, could get 3%, sometimes 4%, you know, to sell from the seller to help you purchase their house.
Sure.
That's not the case anymore. Sellers are not giving you anything. You know, they're taking all their coins and they're walking away.
Wow.
So for my first time home buyers, it still is a really good market.
Okay.
They just have to be prepared for, it's a really good market because the rates are low. They just have to be prepared to, cash wise, for what they might be experiencing with some of the properties. Now, my recommendation, honestly, for my first time home buyers get in the market, they're like, I got $10,000.
Sure.
My budget is $200,000, and I want, you know, a garage, and I want granite countertops.
That's
and I
right.
want
A landing strip, a helicopter pad, 2 swimming pools. All that stuff.
I want 3 bedrooms,
That's
2.5 baths. I want a deck,
an elevator.
That's how they come into the market.
Right.
So it's like, okay, how much do you want to pay? Because we always
$10.
go by how much you want to pay.
Right.
What is your maximum monthly mortgage? Not the house price. What's your maximum monthly mortgage? Because a house in one part of Las Vegas or in one part of Maryland or DC can be one price because the taxes are different. And that maybe there's an HOA, maybe there's a condo fee, and that same house can be $200 difference in mortgage in another area.
Wow.
So that's why you go off your maximum monthly mortgage, right? So at least we know what we're working towards. And when they give me that number, I'm like, they want to pay $1,100. I'm like, that ain't happening.
Right.
So let's talk about this. So what you willing to pay, right? That's just not happening. So, but it is a good market for them. My recommendation is to find a house that has a space that you want, even if it needs some updates, because you can update over time.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And you can make it what you want it to be.
That's right.
And a lot of them are going in wondering what their friends are going to think. They want to go in flash blank, blinging and, Instagram, IG stories and all that stuff in their house, walking into, their home. But sometimes it's really good to take the time to get the space that you need, and just paint and flooring makes a big difference in the house.
Sure.
A huge difference in the house.
That's right.
And it could look like a total different house. So
exactly.
I really try to now, because we're in this environment, help our first time home buyers, keep money in their pocket by just looking at homes that might not necessarily be all updated because they're going to be at the top of your budget.
Right.
And to think about, like, what could we do with this house to make it what I need? And you could probably spend about $5,000 to $6,000 to do that, or less, you know? I mean, get your friends together. Let's have a paint party. I mean,
exactly.
Right.
Right? DIY it.
That's right.
I got the paint. I got the pizza.
That's right.
Yes,
That's right.
yes. Seriously. And that's what a lot of my team members are all first. A lot of them are all first time home buyers now. One of them bought a house, and what she's done to it has been amazing. Like you have contractors, you have people you work with. I mean, it looks incredible. The house looks incredible. It looks like a princess house now, than it did before. So, but it is a good market. Get out there. I think everybody can have a piece of the American dream. Get out there, put your feet in the water, have patience with yourself, have patience with the market, and really, try to find that space for you, not necessarily just because honestly, a lot of flips, right? You have people who've gone, bought houses, old houses, flipped them really fast. And it's like lipstick on a pig. It is not worth the drywall that they put up.
Wow.
And you're going to get in and have a bunch of problems, right? Or we have the home inspection. It's like, what the heck did they do?
Wow.
Right.
It's all crazy, I mean, pipes upside down, just stuff. So, I mean, the cabinet's not on the walls, the sink's loose. So just because it looks pretty doesn't mean that it is a good investment. Sure. Right? So you want to make sure, and most of your older houses they've already settled. The house is already settled. You kind of know what's happening there, right? Sure. And you can go in and create what you want. So that's what I recommend to first time home buyers. Most of them don't listen. No, they don't want that. They want it all done. So,
but isn't it harder if you're competing with the investors as well?
You are, especially in that lower price point. You totally are competing with cash buyers. So it's a very different market. It's a much harder market right now for buyers than it was when I talked to you guys the last time. It is literally about 100 buyers to one house. In every single house, people are offering 10, 15. I mean, sometimes I had a client that offered $70,000 over list price for this house.
Wow.
And still lost out. No inspection, waived the inspection. Wow. And still lost out.
And that's really risky, isn't it? Waiving the inspection.
It is really risky. It is really risky to not do your inspection. However, you can do like an as is, right?
Okay.
Contract that says that you have a due diligence period of a certain number of days to still have an inspection for your information only. And then you get to decide whether what's happening in there is something that you can live with or not.
So what if it's something that I can't live with?
Then you got to stay within that due diligence period. If it's 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, 10 days, as long as you get it done within there, you get to release and preserve your earnest money deposit.
So you get your earnest money back, but
That's correct.
Now, does this inspection happen after they've given you the keys to your new place?
No, this happens immediately after they say yes to your contract.
Oh, okay. And normally in this hot market, I take it that puts your offer at the bottom of the pile because they're looking for those folks that don't want an inspection, right? Sometimes as is good. So so no inspection is here. Okay. As is here. If you're asking for a property inspection, you at the bottom of the pile. Okay. Like if you're doing a regular, like this contract is contingent on an inspection, and I'm going to ask you, Mr. Seller or Mrs. Seller, to do repairs. I want to negotiate repairs with you. Okay. That's what was happening. A year ago, we were doing regular property inspection contingencies, right? Sure. I'm going to negotiate repairs. Right now, almost every contract is coming in, offers going in as is for the most part, or no inspection. And some people are even waiving appraisals. Wow.
And what does that look like? That means that they're saying, because when you get a loan, you have to have an appraisal, right? It has to appraise. But they're saying, I don't care what it appraises at, I'll pay the difference.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, so
that's what people are competing with.
So, for years, there were discrepancies in the DMV, especially about housing prices from community to community. Is that still happening, or is the market hot all over the DMV?
So the market is hot everywhere. It really is. It's hot all over the country is what I'm hearing. I mean, I have agents that I work with that in California and in North Carolina and in Georgia. And, one of my lenders is in Delaware, and it's happening everywhere. So, but yeah, there's still that discussion